So for my video, I'm going to be pruning this mulberry tree. It is located at my mother's house in Malibu Canyon, Calabasas, and she's been experiencing some trouble with it lately. She says it's not growing to its full height potential. It hasn't been producing edible fruit. I'm going to be removing some of the lower branches and pruning out some of the inner branches, which we're going to go take a look at the architecture of the tree. And we're going to try and kind of thin out the canopy a little bit, raise it up. This tree is now several years old, but it's quite a tangle of foliage, and I think it may produce edible fruit if it can be tamed a little bit, and it will grow up higher to its full height potential. So today with me, I have my bypass loppers, I have a handsaw if I need it, maybe not so much for this tree, safety goggles if I need them, and I have my bypass pruners and a holster and sharpener if I need it. So we'll be using all those tools to make cuts on the branches of the mulberry tree. Then when we're finished, I'm going to give it a little bit of organic fertilizer and water it in, so the tree has extra nutrients and water to help it get through these cuts that I'm going to make. Okay, as we get a better look at the structure of the tree, it is apparent that it has a lot of branches crossing over. It has some dead wood that needs to be trimmed off. It has low branches that can be removed, and it has some vertical branches going straight up. So all of those things I can very easily correct, and I'm going to thin out the canopy a little bit and help it focus on its growth. So starting with the larger branches first, I see this one right over here that appears to have some damage, and it's also crossing over the structure of the tree and going all the way out to the other side. So I'm going to remove that branch first, and we'll see what happens after that. There's also a stub up here that seems to be a bit damaged, so I'm going to try and remove that as best as I can. See how there's some decay occurring here. This is not very healthy wood, so I'm going to try and cut this stub back just a little bit, probably using my saw to help remove it cleanly. I don't want this infection to persist into the rest of the tree, so I'm going to try and remove that right away. So there's a whole lot going on in this section of the tree. I'm going to go ahead and remove this branch right here, which crosses over into the next area. And I'm going to go ahead and take off this branch here as well, leaving another branch after the fork that's at least 1/3 of the diameter of the original branch. I should be able to take these off with my pruners. If not, I can use the loppers. Now at the base of the tree, I'm seeing these two branches that both kind of compete with each other and cross over each other. So I'm going to remove at least the smaller one of the two and see how we get going after that. The inner structure of the tree. This tree also has some very long and narrow vertical branches that can be probably reduced in size too to help the tree maintain its proper shape. So I will go ahead and reduce the length of those branches, and then hopefully next season it will put out more branches in a more advantageous arrangement. This branch few branches even coming in from a neighboring tree. So they're not super healthy at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut those off. I'm gonna cut those off right here. So structure of the tree. And there we go. We do have one lower branch for now. It's okay to have this one until the tree gets a little larger. Then we may take off these next two branches up and let the higher branches continue growing. It's a little strange that this leader isn't here. This looks like it may have been the dominant growing stem, but that is all right. Take off this branch first. I see this branch right here that crosses all the way over. It's growing towards the inside of the tree's canopy, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off right there. I made one very last minute decision to cut off this lower branch right here because I decided it was paralleling this one and it was kind of too low to the ground for what we're going for.